Alright, good morning and welcome to ICTICT427, which is identify, evaluate and apply current industry-specific technologies to meet business needs. Now, what this means is we need to select a technology that's going to be used within the organization. So we can do this a few ways, which I'll get into. So this is the formal blurb about what the unit's to do and basically what it considers industry for ICT, and basically we'll be looking at web technologies to keep it in line with what the Metro Cert 4 does, and to provide resources available to you. How is it delivered? It's going to be delivered over 7 weeks. So today is the 7th, unless I've suddenly jumped dates and lost where I am. So this is the first week of 7 weeks of the Monday sessions, and the normal session times as gazetted by the college, if we're doing face-to-face, is 8 AM to 1 PM. We have a term break on the 21st and 28th of September with no scheduled classes for those 2 days. And then we resume on the 5th of October for the last 5 sessions of this unit. So the scenario that we'll be using basically enables us to select some form of technology that it will help the organization meet performance, usability and sustainability targets. And we need to be able to find a way of making websites for clients that are standardized and easy to use for employees. Now, the suggestion has been made to use WordPress. Okay, so that's our Metro colleagues making the WordPress recommendation. You can make a business case for another solution. Okay, I'm not going to lock you into WordPress. We have resources and guidelines available for WordPress, but there are other solutions out there that you can have. So if you wish to use the WordPress scenario, you can find the material that is available in the class forum in My Learning, and this is the material that is provided to you from the Metro My Learning unit counterparts. So what this means is there's a whole bunch of documents. I'll just slide this across, and if I change this to student view, what you can see when you come in is the welcome and class forum. If you just click in the class forum, you'll see the WordPress materials that I've copied from the Metro Learning shell into this one. So it's a document about explaining what WordPress is, how to access it, and various toolbars and processes within it, and the 2 activities that are associated with creating a website in WordPress. Now, why would we select WordPress? WordPress is actually quite widely used. It is responsible for approximately 38% of website development within the world at the moment. So it has a fairly substantial footprint in the market and makes sense for you to know about it and possibly be able to drive it. If you are looking at going into website development, then it's certainly a strong possibility that you'll need to know about it. So that's why the material and the suggestion is there for using WordPress. So I'm just going to give you a brief outline of what's going to come in the forecast. So you need to create a document. Yes, there's going to be reporting done for the unit, i.e. assessments. So you need to decide which method or product you're going to recommend for web development for your business, ABZ Inc. or whatever you want to call the business, it's up to you. You will need to demonstrate the process used to create websites from scratch. So I'll give you a hint. Take screenshots of all the major steps in the process, because you will need to submit evidence of how it's being conducted. The first assessment, or day one assessment if you like, that Metro get handed is basically log into WordPress and create your website theme and submit that. Is the basic outline of the first assessment task for if this class was being conducted in Metro. So basically there's going to be a 3-stage record of various steps to gauge your solution. What that means is there's 3 assessments. Okay, so we'll be stepping through how you've come about coming up with a solution for a standard website design process for your organization, and how you go about creating a website. So you need to think about what type of website you want to create. That's your theme. And we'll be looking at, as far as assessments, the first one will be, basically give a brief business reason why you've chosen to go with a product. B, capture a demonstration of the process being created, what theme your demonstration site's going to use. So the basic first building blocks of creating the website. Then stage 2 will be adding certain features into your website, and stage 3 will be completing it and meeting certain criteria. I will get a rewritten assessments uploaded this week, so you have a clear understanding of where that's coming from. Or you could just decide to run with the Bendigo My Learning outline and the standard assessments that are attached in the Bendigo My Learning website, which, if you want to do that, that's fine. you will become very accustomed to providing, what shall we say, an understanding of the standards. Yeah. So let's see if I can pull this back. So basically, the standard shell, if you go through the steps and download the, the week 1 activity is give a paragraph summary of how everything. So not very relevant, but it goes there. The assessments associated with this are very interesting. Let's see if I can actually. I think I deleted them. That was so depressing. The first assessment attached to here is basically you need to look up. Oh, that's right. That's where it was. No, that's the ones we're going to. The ones from the Bendigo show were you had to write a paragraph describing each of the industry standards, which returned a normal roll. To give you an idea of what they were. And you're going, but they're the answer sheets. Well, that's what they're supposed to be. That's not what they are. So basically, it comes through here asking you to explain, write a paragraph on what the IEEE is, what the Australian standards are, what the ITIL Foundation is, what the Australian Computer Society is, and then all of these standards require you to write a paragraph of what all these standards are. Will it ever end? It does, eventually, 6 pages later. If you wish to go down this road, I'll leave it up to you. But I think writing about selecting a technology and actually building something, all right, it's a website. You may not be into building websites, but I think it'd be a lot more practical use of your time than writing paragraphs about each standard, which I don't see any relevance to the unit with, but that's what's there. So I'm going to give you the option of doing WordPress or another option, up to you. So that's the basic outline. And oh look, things have fallen down from the top screen. Let me just get those back. You don't need to see me doing that. All right, so I'll leave it up to you. Yes, Cooper, that's what I felt like. Remember last week when I started looking at it, I got very dejected with what former colleagues were doing with material. I had a few students from Metro at the beginning of the year asking why they had to do WordPress for this unit, and the basics is if you've got a product out there that is, you know, almost 40% of the market share, you've got to acknowledge it. It's that simple. Now, if you don't want to use WordPress, a quick Google search will bring up a list of alternatives that you can use. This is just one of the ones that came up that gives you a rundown of alternatives that you can use, and some videos on why they do a bit of a review on each type, the pros and cons and things like that, which isn't too bad. They give a reasonable description of everything before having to go through the YouTube, so you can do a bit of reading or watch the video, and then make a selection. Okay, so go comment, Cooper. So the assessment task that I'll be writing is the first step in the first assessment will be for you to choose the product or the process that you want to recommend to the business as to which way it should go with making a standard approach to website design, because currently each developer does their own thing and it's very hard for workloads to be shared and worked on together. I totally agree with that comment, Jacob. I'm not going to expand on that in this forum, especially with the record button on. But yes, so that's going to be how I would like to approach this unit. So you can use WordPress or you can use one of these alternatives, and this is another method of looking at how to develop a product consistently, sustainably, and with very minimal resources required. Now, the idea from a business perspective is you want to be able to quickly bring people on board, produce a minimum standard quality of product for the client that is easy to replicate and do time and time again, but be able to customize it to the client's needs when we're dealing with websites and things like that. So I think WordPress is introducing some new interesting features. This morning I watched a little thing. Google is actually just introduced a plugin for Google, which is WordPress stories, which they've got a criteria of making these little story formats that they're going to replicate throughout their Google searches, which are like little storyboards. They have to be between 5 and 30 slides, if you like, or pages as they call them, which is basically like a mobile template page. So you can look at that as well. There's lots of interesting things that WordPress enables you to do. Wix is another one that's heavily promoted. BigCommerce is an Australian-based development site, but that is based around commercial enterprise, and they charge you $30 a month as the minimum. So I don't expect anybody to go there and do that one. But several of these actually have free accounts that you can create with them. So, you know, Site 123, free sites. So can have a look. I did log into WordPress last night and created an account. That's as far as I got. So I decided to call my site I Teach Cisco AU, and I used the free domain WordPress.com. So your name WordPress.com, because that attached no fees to this exercise whatsoever. And so free plan, then you can start playing around with the various design packs. We'll be looking at themes, so you can choose whether it's a blogging type thing or e-commerce or whatever you wish to make out of it. And we'll be looking through the various type of elements you can create here. There are commercial programs and that, like Adobe, and that you can create websites from and use themes and things like that with. But again, this is a full feature site that provides building blocks, and we have some measure of control over the outcome. So your task today will be to determine which tool product you're going to choose to work with for creating websites on a repeatable, sustainable process, and to take some notes on why, from a business perspective, you believe this product would be a good choice. And you're looking at flexibility, sustainability, things like that. So paragraph or two about why it is. Costs. You can do a sample for a customer with no cost out of WordPress, for example. You can publish it so they can see the thing, and then you actually own the content, so you can then sell it and transfer it to their domain name and things like that. So flexibility you can demo it before creating a domain and do all this sort of stuff for them beforehand. The next step after that is to choose the theme of your sample website that you're going to create to promote this product that you're going to use. And as I said, take a couple of screenshots of how you created that process of choosing your theme and why you chose that theme. Alright, so explain why you chose the product that you're going to use, and then explain what theme or demo website you're going to create, and do a screen capture of the process of going about creating that base that we're building from on that theme. Is that clear enough for people? Okay. I don't want to be too restrictive. The idea of this unit should be for you to do some research and move from there. Okay, so there is some guidance with WordPress in the forums. There's the 7 documents you can download. There is an 8th one that it said it was too big for me to upload in the forums, so I might just produce a link to the OneDrive in Discord for it. It's to do with selecting themes and things like that, and child themes, so you can mix and match and do things with. That's basically all what I've got for this morning, which is a nice, quick and easy 30-minute intro into the unit. The process, because I've left it open, gives you the most flexibility. Some people may find the interface for WordPress difficult to navigate without doing some tutorials. There are plenty of YouTube videos and that on how to drive WordPress, and there's plenty of ones for the others as well. So I'll let you do the research, choose the one that you want to run with, and basically I'll just provide guidance on how to approach the design elements and to meet the goals. So effectively I'll be acting as a manager and guiding you through the process of doing the demo for submittal for review, i.e. the assessments. Okay, well, I'm going to close it there.